What up, everybody? It's me, Blake316, here to give my predictions of this year's 2016 E3. Now, in my opinion, this is going to be one of the biggest E3s in quite some time. This is going to be a bigger E3 than when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 was announced, in my opinion. I mean, let's just talk about this week that is leading up to this year's E3. Some of the titles that have been released are big budget AAA titles that any other year would be saved until E3 and people would be going crazy over it. And the fact that they're actually being announced the week prior to E3 just shows what type of titles that are actually going to be announced during E3 press conference. I mean, look at it. Watch Dogs 2 was just announced, and that 3 years ago would have been an E3 announcement. Injustice 2 was just announced. Trailers and everything. That also could have been an E3 announcement. And they're even talking about a Skyrim Remastered. I actually have Skyrim for the Xbox 360. To be honest with you, I only played about 2 hours of the game. Reason being, back then, and I say back then, I actually had a tube TV. I didn't have an HD TV. And because I had a tube TV, it was really hard to read all the font and text in any type of RPG game. So I couldn't really get into this that much. So it's kind of crazy that if they're going to announce a remastered, I'm kind of thinking about whether or not I should get it. I did not actually play Watch Dogs, the first one. Reason being, I'm not really interested in, or never interested in, sandbox open world games. I personally just don't like them. But maybe I'll give this one a try. And Injustice, I had the first one, Gods Amongst Us, for the PS4. Really good game. But let's get back to the E3 predictions. Like I said, I personally think this is going to be one of the biggest E3s we had in such a long time. Reason being, they're going to announce probably new consoles. Like, granted, they may not be like a next generation of consoles, but they're still going to be new consoles. For example, PlayStation is probably going to talk about the Sony Project Neo 4K PS4. Xbox is probably going to talk about this Scorpion Xbox that they've been rumors been about, as far as the Xbox One Slim. And we all know Nintendo are probably going to talk about the NX. But let me get into my predictions of this year's E3. So, as far as Sony, I'm predicting, which is an obvious predicament that everyone else is probably predicting, they're going to show the the PlayStation 4, okay? And they're probably going to go into the details of how much better it is than the regular PlayStation 4. They're probably definitely going to showcase a bunch of VR reality games. I think PlayStation is literally just going to boost the PlayStation 4K, and they're going to talk about their PlayStation VR. I mean, it's not going to be the best press conference in the world, but at this stage, with this huge crowd, they have to talk about what they're going to be doing. It's pretty obvious. I do believe Sony is going to be crazy enough to bundle this PlayStation 4K and the PlayStation VR together. I think they're going to be crazy enough to bundle these two things together, and it's going to be like a $900 price tag, and people are going to go absolutely fucking crazy. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to be saving you some money getting it bundled together, because I can't see this new PlayStation 4K, 4.5, whatever you want to call it, being no less than $400. The PlayStation VR is already $500, $600. Let's be honest, it's going to be pretty pricey to get both those together. So I really think they're going to be brave enough and crazy enough to actually announce a bundle, and people are going to go fucking crazy over it. It's going to be really bad press, but it's going to be good press because people are going to be talking about Sony for quite some time once they do that. But like I said, I think they're really going to showcase a bunch of VR games. Nothing too crazy. I honestly don't think, Sony has many titles that they're going to announce as far as exclusives for this year. I think they're going strictly VR. I don't even think Sony has any room right now to announce any exclusives for the PlayStation 4, because there's so much money is going into this VR. They pretty much have to talk about nothing but VR titles. They don't have the time, they don't have the space, and they don't have it. They cannot talk about anything else other than VR, because they're investing so much money into this thing. They have to push it 100% at E3. If they are going to release or talk about or reveal E3 2016 exclusive, obviously I'm hoping for it, The Last of Us 2. If they announce The Last of Us 2 and they actually give a release date of that that fucking game with the dog and the kid. I can't think of it right now, but it's been rumored for like 10 years. The Shadow of Colossus, or not Shadow, the Eco game. You guys know what the hell I'm talking about. The game that they announced last year looked amazing. If they announced Last of Us 2 and they actually give a release date for that game, let me tell you right now, they can either win E3 or they're going to lose it with this fucking PlayStation 4 and VR bundle that they have to announce. So I think they're going to get a lot of publicity through Sony. I think they're going to get... I can definitely have people talking. Now let's go on to Xbox One. Xbox One is always interesting at the E3s. Reason being, they barely show any games. They always talk about their apps or some stupid ass gimmick shit that nobody ever wants. Is this the year that Xbox and Microsoft is actually going to show their games? I want to predict that Microsoft is going to release or talk about the Scorpio console. And if the specs and rumors are living up, every console, PlayStation 4, Nintendo, whoever, fucking PC gaming, is in trouble. Because this thing is rumored to be like 6 times more powerful than the actual Xbox One. This literally is a next-gen console 3 years into this console generation. With that being said, I think if they do talk about it, it's going to be crazy. But I don't know. That's a really crazy prediction. Obviously Gears of War 4, they've been showing in the commercials. Now, I predicted this, I believe, last year's. As people know, Microsoft is officially releasing all their exclusives on PC. There is no Xbox One only exclusive anymore. It's released on Xbox One as well as a PC. I'm predicting finally that they're going to announce Halo Wars 2. And now that they're kind of merging with the PC, I truly believe that there's going to be a Halo Wars Xbox One version bundle that's going to include a mouse and possibly a keyboard. But I'm predicting a mouse and a mouse pad to play Halo Wars 2 on the Xbox One. I think if they do that, I think that game would sell really well if it's a strategic game with a mouse and pad on the Xbox One. I think they're going to try to go that PC route. I think Microsoft has been constantly trying to go this PC route with this Xbox One. I mean, the goddamn console fucking feels like a PC. It's slow as shit sometimes. But I'm predicting a Halo Wars 2. Obviously, I think they're going to do some type of fucking Halo 5. I mean, let's be honest, there hasn't been a Halo game announced this year. It's just kind of crazy. It's like I think they're just gonna focus on like these new upgrades of consoles. I really don't see many games being announced for these things. A lot of people, let's talk about Nintendo. A lot of people are talking about Nintendo. Nintendo's doomed. Nintendo's not having a conference. Nintendo's only having one playable game at E3, and it's going to be the Zelda Wii U. Like, shut up. You cannot be that fucking stupid. Nintendo is clearly going to announce, like, the NX or whatever the fuck it is. If it's a console, if it's a portable, nobody knows what this thing is. And Nintendo has to use this platform. Whether it's at the E3, whether they do their own online thing like they always do, they're going to announce something. And I truly believe Nintendo has to be smart enough to finally get it together where they're going to have an insane amount of launch titles. I truly believe that obviously they're going to announce some type of Mario universe where it's like a Mario Galaxy sequel. I believe that they're going to be partnering up with Sega. Nintendo does have a really good partnership with Sega. Who knows? A Sonic Adventure 3, which I think would be really fucking dope. I personally like Sonic Adventure 1 as well as 2. I think they're just going to come straight out the boat with titles that people quote unquote want. You know, people always say they wanted these titles on the Wii U. When they got it on the Wii U, they still didn't buy it. But I think Nintendo is going to finally show some NX footage. As far as my craziest predictions, you know, last year's E3 and in this particular E3, I think it's all going to be about remasters in these new consoles. I think these companies want to bring back these classic games like Skyrim, like Nintendo brought back Zelda Twilight Princess. I think they want to bring back these classic games and finally remaster them on a platform to make it the way they truly felt it was supposed to be made. My biggest prediction is I think Activision is going to make a remastered. Excuse me, I'm fucking slipping on the word. If they're willing to make a Skyrim Remastered, I think Activision is going to make a remastered. I am predicting either a Red Dead Redemption sequel or fucking remastered. But I'm predicting a Grand Theft Auto 3 or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Remastered. This is my biggest prediction. If they remastered this game, and if it happens to be a console exclusive or time exclusive, holy shit, will people go crazy. Because last year they announced the Final Fantasy VII Remastered. There's a bunch of remasters last year. I think there's going to be more remasters this year. I think there's going to be more remasters revealed this year at this year's E3 than new games. I think like all the new games like Watch Dogs 2 and Justice 2 are kind of already being announced now. I think it's just a bunch of remasters. And I think that's my biggest prediction. I think Sony PlayStation 4 is going to be talking a lot about their VR and their VR games. They're going to try to push it. Who knows? Maybe the NX is going to have some type of VR. I think Nintendo has something crazy up their sleeve. They always have some crazy gimmick now with their new consoles. As far as Microsoft, I think Microsoft's going to keep it, you know, what they've been doing. No gimmicks. They're just going to deliver a powerful ass fucking console, a slimmer console. And I think they're going to talk more about how the Xbox... Another prediction is I think Microsoft is really going to be merging the Xbox One with their PC, where Xbox One gamers play with PC gamers, kind of like what PlayStation 4 did with Street Fighter V and the PC. I think they're going to kind of merge it together. Therefore, they're going to be Xbox One gamers now have relationships with PC gamers. I think they're really going to go that route. But like I said, I think this is going to be the biggest E3 in quite some time, because I think if they do announce these new consoles at such a short amount of time, I think people are going to go absolutely nuts. It's going to be an interesting E3 because it's going to be the first E3 where they're really showcasing VR. And like I said, who knows what Nintendo has up their sleeve. But it's me, Blake316, giving my predictions of E3 2016. Make sure to subscribe for future videos. I'm sure I'll be covering it. Until next time, peace.